like to welcome you to our board meeting this evening. We have with us tonight Zach Kelly from Brentwood Church. This is his first time joining us. We welcome you. He'll lead us in our invocation and be followed by the Pledge of Allegiance. If you will, all please rise.
All right. So I just want to say, regardless of all the decisions that need to be made tonight or things that need to be discussed, Jesus said that if we seek first his kingdom and his righteousness, all these other things will be added. So I just applaud this town and our city for saying we want to open with prayer and knowing that seeking him first is what helps us make all these decisions and to lead our community well. So we'll just pray now. Jesus, we just thank you tonight that we've gathered here to make our community better. We've gathered here to make decisions that affect a lot of people. And God, that our town wants to help people. We want to care for the people that you have brought into this city. And so, God, we pray for wisdom tonight. God, we pray for guidance. God, we pray for compassion to drive us. We pray for the ability to make the hard decisions that have to be made at times in order to do what's best. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. You may be seated. At this time, do we have any additions or deletions to our agenda?
Item B.
Yeah.
Madam Mayor, would like to
There
pull
they are.
item B from the consent agenda.
And we'll move that to new business.
Item B under consent
Okay.
agenda.
And then item B will become item D under new business.
You're good.
Okay, is there any other things that you'd like to add or delete or change on our agenda?
Motion to approve the
Have a
agenda.
motion to approve the agenda. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by raising your right hand. Seeing none, Commissioner Legg, you okay with the agenda?
I voted.
Okay, seeing none opposed, the agenda's approved. Next thing we have on our agenda is official comments this evening. I'll start with Commissioner Marley for official comments.
I'm good, Mayor. I don't have anything at this time.
Okay?
I am hopping up on caffeine, so I am good as well. I hope everyone else have a pleasant evening. So, yes, that's all.
Mayor Pro Tem,
I'm good, Madam Mayor. Hello, everybody.
Commissioner Mitchell.
Well, I'm gonna have to say something. Just kidding. I just want to say good evening. Thanks everyone for coming out.
Commissioner Legg.
Yes, I want to thank everyone for coming out. I've seen some faces I haven't seen for a while. Mr. Kirby, it's nice to have you with us this evening. That'd be all for me, Mayor.
Okay. And I just think it's very important because this is kind of a unique month. This is Black History Month, but something that I think we haven't recognized here in Hope Mills is that we have, tonight, we've made history. We really made history earlier this week. We have our first Black African-American female elected to the board, 2 terms, high vote getter, both times Mayor Pro Tem. We have sitting over here Commissioner Freely Mitchell, and we have our first interim or town manager, Chancellor McLaughlin. So this is unique to the history of Hope Mills, and I just think it's a special month and it's a special time for Hope Mills. So I think we need to applaud that and let people know that Hope Mills is not only celebrating history of Hope Mills, but celebrating Black History Month also. So thank you. And now, next thing on our agenda is presentations, and I'll start with Public Safety Building, and that would be a project update by Mr. Garner.
Good evening, Mayor and Commissioners. I'm glad to be with you tonight. And we do have a report. I'll try to be brief. I think the project we're slowly finishing. It seems like we're pulling hen's teeth, but we are getting there. The project is 94% complete. The work that's going on now is the sewer connection for the library, which was a surprise that we had to do that, but we're now installing that, and so it's in progress. The next step will be to do the parking lot for the fire department and the apparatus apron for the fire department and the fence and the landscaping. And then we also have to do the flagpoles, the police memorial, and fire memorials at the intersection, and that will complete the building and landscaping on that side. As you know, the town hall Parks and Rec parking lot is almost finished, and I'm happy to say that the two end sections were opened today, and I'm sure that the one at the Parks and Rec is full. I don't know about the one behind Town Hall, but it looked like people were finding it, so that's progress. And we're working on the punch list, so we're working through that. There are things that have to be corrected, and we're going through them one at a time to make sure they're done correctly. But we are making good progress, and I think that things are moving along. The next thing is to talk about change order 13, which is on the agenda tonight. You've seen the notes for that. I'll go through it very briefly. There are 5 items. The first one is for installing wheel stops in the visitor parking lot for the police and, for the John W. Hodges and Town Hall out there. And that's basically just a thing to make it work a little bit better. The second item is to add a concrete slab at the rear of the police parking lot, and that would be in order to construct a shed for the armored vehicle, which the police have. And they currently have a shed and the armored vehicle parked over at the temporary station, but they're asking us to get that moved. So that is the second item. The third item is a training aid for the fire department, and that is to install when we did the drawings, we called it a zip line. It's not really a zip line, it's a training line. And so we didn't have full information, so we did not complete the design of the connections. We've done that, and now we're ready to have that installed, which this will allow training at home, so they won't have to leave the station to do this segment of their training. The fourth item is for the man gate at the top of the stairs, and that is a required exit. We need to add exit hardware for that. And the fifth item, we previously approved modifying the doors from the police department and from the fire department into the upper lobby and making them required exits. That was at the request of the building inspector, and we approved the hardware change and the door changes, modifications to do that on a previous change order. This is for the exit lights and to add a couple of receptacles. So, do we have questions about any of those, or would you like to address that?
Yes, I have a question about change order number 53. $14,135 for just a concrete slab?
It's there are 2 things involved. It involves some grading work, and it's a heavy-duty slab. It's not a 4-inch slab.
I know.
It's a heavy-duty slab.
At that price, that must be airport capacity slab.
Well, it's heavily reinforced. The armored vehicle is very heavy.
I'm familiar with them.
Yeah.
Very familiar with them.
So this is the price we have, and if we want to do it, we can do it. If we prefer not to do it, I don't
Madam
know.
Mayor, I have a question.
Okay.
So this is a concrete slab, and then I guess there's like one of the metal canopies. That's supposed to be covering it, or is there an actual building? It says the building is to be identical to the one at the temporary. So is it just the slab, or is there a building included?
This price, the price that you have, is for the slab and the grading. It does not include the building.
So when is the building gonna come up?
The building is done separately. I have nothing to do with the building.
So
What are we using to cover it with now? How's it covered now?
It's the armored vehicle is in a shed over, or metal building over at the temporary station now. That's where it is now. And they, since we've given up that property, they want us to move it,
Okay,
and we need to move it over here.
all right, and that shed, and the shed that is under now, who owns that shed?
I'm sorry?
The shed that is under now, who owns that shed?
I don't know if the chief can answer that.
They, yeah. The shed became part of that property,
It became part, all right, it became part of that property.
yes.
So, but we used to own the shed at one time, am I correct?
The police chief did it.
Okay,
Yes, I believe we paid for it to install it. I'm sorry. Yes, we paid to install it over there, but it's my understanding that it would cost just as much to move as it would to put a new one up. It's just a metal, it's just a metal.
metal
Like-
covering. that's
like a
what it really
canopy
is.
kind of
Yes,
thing?
I know what it
Yeah,
is.
well, it's,
I know what it is,
It's
yes.
completely enclosed, and the law enforcement support office here in North Carolina requires that kind of vehicle to be
Covered.
completely enclosed and locked
That's
up.
understandable, yes.
I don't know about the thickness of the concrete or anything, but I do know
Uh-huh.
that it is on a thick pad over there, and from what I understand, it's just as cost effective to put a new one up as it is to pay somebody to take that one down and then reassemble it, because it would require the disassembling and then the reassembling.
I don't wanna say, like, let's jump the gun and put the slab, but shouldn't we have the people who are gonna put the new building up dictate about the concrete slab and have them figure that out? Because I don't wanna put a slab down and then have to be broken up if the building can't sit on there for whatever reason.
We know what size slab to make.
Are you sure? Because, I mean, I'm looking at change orders, so are you sure?
Well, they told me to go over and measure that building
All right,
to make the slab precisely that size. And that's what we have done.
I guess, go ahead.
The,
And they talked to the building.
the shed people told us what size slab to put in, and then, I believe they consulted Steve and, Gleason's and the concrete people on how thick would be, depending on the weight of the vehicle. And that's how they determined how thick it needed to be, correct?
Well, the civil engineer.
It was civil engineer.
Okay, yes.
Yeah.
Wow, I understand what Commissioner Scarella was saying. Technically, I guess we should have slab and building at the same time, pretty
Yeah.
much been on the same change order. I think that's what you're implying,
Yes,
correct?
yes,
Yeah,
yes.
that would make more sense to us too.
This contractor, the contractor that we have will put in the slab.
Oh,
I'll address that. The building is not going to be part of the general contractor's project.
that y'all have,
We're going to add the building once the slab is there. The slab is being done through the general contractor.
that we have now.
So they're gonna do the slab through their project. The town will pay for the building separate from their contract.
We got that,
So
yeah.
once the slab's in, then we can order the building and have that put in. But we're doing that through the town, not through Gleason Construction.
What that will do is save you the cost of the contract.
Exactly. If we had them install it, it would be part of this contract, and then there would also be the contractor's markup and that sort of thing. So we're gonna install it in order to save money.
Okay,
But as far as the concrete slab, we're having them do it because the grading is involved, it's gonna involve the fence around the building. It affects that project to do the slab. The building we'll put in later, once the slab is there.
Have we gotten any, like, an estimate or anything for that already?
I'm assuming it'll cost about what the other one did. It'll be roughly between $8,000 and $9,000 to purchase the building, the
Okay.
metal structure. But we'll order that as soon as the slab is done.
all right, thanks.
Do we have other questions?
Any other questions?
Okay, I'm just kidding.
So, I would ask for approval on these items.
Any other questions about the change order?
I'll make a motion
Okay.
that, let's hold the change order thing at, put a number at. Where's the change order thing at?
Under presentation. Right
Yeah,
there.
okay.
Just make sure you stay in your motion, that you're granting the 60 days extension.
Oh, no.
Oh, ain't, it's 60 extension too.
Let me say one thing about that. The contractor asked for 60 additional days. He does not expect to take the full time, but he wants to make sure he has enough time. Currently, his completion date is the 1st of March. That's what we gave him on change order 10. So he's not going to be finished on the 1st of March. He thinks he'll be finished close to the 1st of April. But if he has bad weather or he hits a problem, he wants a little cushion in there. So he's asking for 60 days. I think that he's entitled to that because when we went through COVID, we experienced delays in delivery of materials. If you remember, the roof insulation was supposed to come in September and it came the end of January. So he lost a lot of time, not through his own fault, but through the availability of materials. So he's asking for 60 days. We did not give him any time then. And this is just to make sure he has enough time to finish the project. And I think that he does. I think 1st of April, mid-April, we will be finished with the project. We're working through the punch list, but there's still work to be done. And so I think it's fair to him to give him some time extension for that.
Who is our town project manager for this project? Oh, you the project manager? I thought the town had one other than you. Yeah. Huh? Oh, okay, you're the liaison, that's what I'm saying. So they're requesting a 60-day extension
Yes, sir.
of the whole project in totality.
Yes, sir.
And y'all okay with that? Yeah. You okay with that? The rest of the board, y'all okay with that?
I mean, I say we do have a choice, but do we
Yeah,
have a choice?
yeah, we don't really have a choice, yeah, that's right. Well, I make a motion that we approve change order 13 and grant the contractors requesting 60-day extension.
Okay, do I have a second to that motion?
Second.
I have a motion and a second, and the project, it is in the amount of $24,416 is that change order. We have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? All those-
I will say something about the
Okay.
extension. You know, we did have a delay with the roofing materials, and it held that whole project up for about 3 months, and they couldn't do anything. And so I feel like we do owe it to them, and we don't want to rush it. We don't want the building rushed. We want it to be nice and want it to be right when he gets it done. So I'm good.
Madam Mayor, what was
Yes.
the money, dollar amount? I wasn't sure if you said the
$24,416.
25,000.
25, yeah.
25, I'm
There we
sorry.
go.
I'm taking a 1,000 away. 25,416.
There you go.
Everybody okay? Any more discussion? All those in favor signify by raising your right hand. Seeing none opposed. Liam Creasy, do you know,
I don't think he's here.
okay. Anything else, sir? I'm sorry.
No, we're still in budget, and so
Okay.
this will be covered by the contingency, and we have the money
Eye
to do that.
contact.
So we're looking forward to, I understand a few of you went over and toured the building and saw what we have been working on for months, and we're looking forward to completion.
It's very nice.
Thank you very
Thank you.
much.
Thank you. Lamar, Mr. Marshall, do you know if Liam Creasy's coming?
Madam Mayor, I wasn't aware that his presentation was on the agenda tonight.
Yeah, we'll take it out.
I just met with him and his mother tonight to discuss the project, and they requested to come back on March the 6th.
And that should have been,
Okay.
Yeah, I didn't realize it had already been put on the agenda.
go down.
They want a little more time to do the project. We agree where the project's
Yes.
gonna be at and installed.
Okay.
So
Should've came
he's gonna
to
do a
y'all.
full presentation to show you all what that is on March the
Okay.
6th, I think it is.
Okay.
Should come through y'all anyway?
Yeah,
That's
it
what we
all
agreed.
goes through them.
Yes.
It was put on the agenda based on the conversations that were had with his mom and him. I guess, Ms. Starling, it was done,
A couple weeks ago.
yeah, he chose, yeah,
repeated contact with them.
Yeah.
My understanding is
Okay.
The mom asked for an extension
Okay.
so they can put the
Okay.
All righty, well, that, we'll just move that to March 6th then. Okay, the next thing is where it's a presentation of North Carolina Senior Tar Heel Legislature. The reason for bringing this to you tonight is for two reasons. One is that to give you a little bit of update about what that is, because most people don't know. It was established in 1993 with the passage of Senate Bill 479, North Carolina Statute 143B-181.55. And the reason for it was for representation of our senior citizens. And it is set up just like the legislature in that there's one representative from each county, and then they meet 3 times a year, and what they do is, especially during budget year, which is this year, the long session, but what's happening is March 21st and 22nd, I am the senior Tar Heel delegate for Cumberland County. I have served as an alternate previously, but this year I was elected and appointed by the county commissioners to serve as a delegate. And what this means is that I'll be meeting with the legislators in reference to issues related to senior citizens. And we do have committees. It's all set up just like the legislature, so that when you go there, there's a chairman of the group, and it's just meant to so that we can actually present to the legislators the concerns. And I put on here the 5 things that are being brought to the legislators for your information. And I have to meet with our senior citizens at our community center at some point in time so that we can share these with them as the legislative priorities. But I did want you to know, because you will start seeing this year, because of COVID, everything's been stalled for the past 2 years. This year, we've got pamphlets, we've got information, and they're doing a big push to get this back doing things it's supposed to do, whereas for 3 years, really, they haven't met in person. So now we're back meeting in person. But I included this in your packet, and it will also be something that we'll put on probably the mayor's page, or maybe the website, so people can see it. But that's all I have for that.
Okay.
Any questions about that? Okay. And I do have more information that I can get to you if you have questions as we move along. And there's some things that pertain to veterans also. All right, next we have public hearings. And what we have tonight is public hearing related to the resolution of intent R 2023-02, amending the Town of Hope Mills Town Charter to alter the terms served by the Mayor and Board of Commissioners to 4-year staggered terms as permitted by North Carolina General Statute 168-1014. And this is behind your tab 3, and I will turn it over to our town attorney, Mr. Hartzog.
As the board is aware, the board asked for this to be explored, and the general idea is that the 4-year staggered terms would allow the board to
Mayor. I'm sorry, I don't mean to interrupt. Can you come up here to the microphone so the people at home can hear what you're saying, if you don't mind? Thank you.
So the general idea of the 4-year staggered terms, as the board has asked about, is that you would have a consistency and continuity in leadership. You know, the town has a lot of big projects going on, sometimes multi-million-dollar projects going on. And, you know, when you have every 2 years potential for the board to completely turn over, that can cause havoc on these long-term projects. And so, you know, I think the league is recommending, a lot of municipalities have switched to the 4-year staggered terms, simply to make sure that there is that continuity of leadership and vision of the board in place, so that as these projects progress, you know, there's never a time when a new board is coming in just cold, which could happen if you all are up for the same election at the same time. I want to clarify too, y'all would not be voting to extend your own terms. This would be voting for whoever comes into office next to serve the 4-year term, whether it be y'all or someone else. The idea would be that the next board voted in, you know, 3 of those members, the top vote getters, would serve 4-year terms, 2 would serve 2-year terms, and then the next election, those 2 would be up for the 4-year terms, those 2 seats. So that gets you the 4-year staggered terms, which allows continuity in leadership as you go forward, which is really important with some of these bigger projects that you've got going on. And so North Carolina General Statute, we're only allowed to have 2-year or 4-year terms. So you really can't have 2-year staggered terms because, one, you'd have an election every year, which would cause havoc on sort of the working of the board. I mean, if you're constantly having elections, that takes away from governance. And so also, by statute, we only have elections an odd number of years. So we're sort of, it's either 2-year terms as you have now of 2 years, everyone's up, or 4-year staggered terms. And it's up to the board, of course, how you want to do it, but a lot of municipalities have made the switch to 4-year staggered terms for that reason, for the continuity and leadership and vision of the board, particularly where, like we do here, we have pretty important long-term projects going on that need that vision and leadership of the board to remain somewhat constant. Of course, every election cycle, you're going to have seats up, but at least it allows, every election cycle, even when new people come in, they have the benefit of board members who've been on the board for 2 years at least, the benefit of their experience in leadership, and then, so you're not ever having a whole board or a majority of the board come in cold without any continuity and any, ability to draw on the experience and knowledge of the board that's been in place as these projects have started and as they progress. So with that, unless you have any questions.
Any questions?
Thank you.
Motion to open public hearing.
Okay, public hearing is now open. Is there anyone here that would like to speak in favor of this resolution of intent? Anyone would like to speak in opposition? And we do have, okay, Ms. Bailey, come forward. Identify name and address, and then we do have one that has sent by email that our town clerk will read.
Good evening. I'm Sally Bailey at 5857 Hunting Ridge Road, Oak Mills. Good evening, Mayor, council people, our staff, and y'all can't take him from a planning. He does such a good job. Anyway, I'm not for it for this time, okay? We have 18,000 people in town of Oak Mills. How many come out and vote? 3,000? Maybe a little bit more, maybe a little bit less. Unless it's a national election or a state election. I don't think that 3,000 people can nominate, or not nominate, but put people in office for 4 years right at this time, and we know what we're doing, okay? I'm not against the 4-year terms, but not now, okay? We need to get people to get out and vote more, to show them more interest in Hope Mills. Can we do that? I'm not sure we can. We don't even come to town meeting, and I'm guilty of that one too, okay? So, I mean, we don't take interest in our town. Now, how do we change that? Y'all have done everything you know to do, okay? You're open. I don't have an issue with my board, okay? But I do have an issue. Let's wait a couple more years. Let's see if we can get the town more involved. And then I think that if we go to a 4-year term, then people will elect people that they really want in there. That it won't be, well, this is my vote, you know. We won't do that system as we do so much now, okay? That we'll look at the candidates, we'll have people that will really run and can do a 4-year term and do it well. That's my problem with it, is can we get the right people to run and run for 4 years and run this town well? As y'all well know, that we have had issues in the past with commissioners, and the town has not ran well. So we need to think about that. We need to focus on that. We need to get people involved more to run that are capable of running this town. That would be my thing, okay?
Thanks.
Sorry I disappointed y'all in all of it, but still, that's the way I feel about it, and I think there's a lot of other people.
Yeah.
Let's wait. And besides that, it needs to go to the public to be voted on, It's our town too, okay? I know you represent us. I understand that. I voted for some of you. Voted for me too, but I didn't win. But anyway, we just left that. But anyway, it still has to be done as a town. We've got to do this together. We got to stand together. You know, I don't wanna vote for it and it pass and everything. We're going along fine. And then we got this whole stage full of people who don't like it. It's too late then. So maybe we need to talk about it more. I don't think there's some of the citizens even know about it. Miss the Sandsburg, you know, because the federal paper puts nothing in there. There was a little article in Day's paper, and that was the extent of it. And anyone who doesn't either read the reader or take the newspaper, they're missing out. So they know nothing about what's going on in Hope Mills. That's another problem we got. Okay, thank y'all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Speaking of newspapers, there's two of them. Point to them.
Okay, they represent the same one. All right, Ms. Starling? Is there anyone else that wants to speak in opposition? Okay.
Motion to close the
No.
public
We
hearing.
have
Letter.
we have a letter
We
to
have a letter to
read.
read.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm reading into the record a email from Louis Oatman to the board. And his subject line states, I ask each of you to strongly consider your vote tonight to be a vote for no to staggered terms of office and place it on the ballot in November for the citizens to choose. The body says, to our town elected officials, I with much disappointment and sadness that I have to take this opportunity to express that I am against the BOC's vote to consider changing our town's charter or ordinance to allow for each of you to have staggered terms in office, as was voiced by a vote of the citizens of the great community 4 years ago, no to 4-year terms of office for commissioners. The NC State Constitution is very clear in who governs or legislates in our state. The power tests that we, the people of this community, and not with the elected representatives to decide the terms of office, especially within elected year with only several months to we, the voters, will have an opportunity to vote on this issue and be heard once again. I am really troubled by the fact that only 2 of our commissioners are willing to let the people decide whether to allow this matter. I congratulate Commissioners Scarola and Legg for their decision to stand up and with the citizens of our community. Should the Board of Commissioners decide to take action, that we the people have responded with an overwhelming majority response, if no. You're elected to serve the greater good of the citizens of our community. If you are elected to serve the citizens and you are keeping the best interests of the citizens in mind, and your constituents will vote to keep you in office for another term. If you are worried about how the people are electing our town government, then maybe you should be considering a new line of work. Remember that you each made campaign promises to the people of this town, and we will be holding each of you accountable for your actions in action and your decisions you each make on behalf of the citizens. We elect our representatives to serve the overall best interest of our citizens and our community. We are not your subjects to be ruled and dictated to by our elected representatives. Last time I checked, we are still living in a democracy, not living under a monarchy. I have served and continue to serve this great country, my state and my community with honor, respect, dignity, ethically, integrity, service before self, and excellence in all aspects of my profession, life, and professional careers. I strongly believe and support that each of you should vote no and vote yes on each of you allowing the people of this great community have their voices heard on the matter before each of you tonight. Vote no on changes to the town ordinance on this matter, VU tonight. I am not able to attend this evening's meeting due to my poor health. I ask that my voice be heard and the voices of my family members be heard, as well as recorded in the meeting minutes as a strong voice against this decision to chance the town ordinance in terms of service by the elected representatives making this decision to rule the town citizens and our community. The decision must and should be respected and allow we the people whom were elected to serve to decide on this matter at the ballot box in November. I hope that you will all take the high ground and stand by the citizens of this community and not vote to rule over us. Thank you for your time and your support in voting no to changing the ordinance without a vote by the people of this great community. VR Dr. and Mrs. Lewis Scott Oatman, as well as our family members that live and work in this great community, our town of Hope Mills. He does not offer his address.
Are there any others that would like to speak in opposition? If not, do we have a motion to close public hearing?
Motion to close public hearing.
Okay, motion to close. All right, further discussion?
Madam Mayor,
Yes, sir?
you know, this was put before our general citizenry 4 years ago, and it was overwhelmingly voted down. And I suggest we listen to those citizens and continue to go the way we've been going with the 2-year terms.
Anyone, any other discussion? Commissioner Scrolla?
I agree. I mean, I agree. And I've said this to people before. It's a double-edged sword, either way, because I try to look at it from both sides and play devil's advocate. You know, if you have a good board and it's 2 years, great. If you have a good board and it's 4 years, great. If you have a bad board and it's 2 years, okay. If you have a bad board and it's 4 years, then you're like, ugh, then you're kind of stuck. So it's a double-edged sword. But I completely agree, and I've said this before. I am totally on the citizen side where there was a vote. I was out of state. I think I just moved back when that happened, so I wasn't even able to vote in that one. But I'm not going to take away the voice of the people from that. So I'm saying, yeah.
If I may just chime in here real quick, just so the board is aware, because we just had the public hearing, you're actually not allowed to vote specifically on whether to adopt this change until the next meeting.
Right.
Okay.
We still discuss it.
Yeah.
The vote itself needs to take place.
We just move on
Next
then.
meeting, yeah.
Okay, let's move on.
Okay. And I would say that it was 5 years ago, I think today, that this was brought before the board, that was put on the ballot that following. So it's 2018, the last time this was done. And it was done in that year election. All right, so is any other discussion on this? If not, this will be something that we'll be voting on at our next meeting, which will be on March 6th. Okay? All right, next we have public comments, and we do have one person that is signed up for public comments, and that is Sally Bailey.
Sally Bailey again?
Sally Bailey again. Come on down.
I never show up for the meetings, and I do it twice. No. I'm Sally Bailey, and it's 5857 Honey Ridge Road, Hope Mills. And good evening, Mayor and council people and the town staff. I want to talk about, let's redo an ordinance. Probably one that does not even exist. Why, you know, we go through Hope Mills and you just kind of look at it and you're watching the traffic and you're thinking of 10 other things and you're not paying attention, right? And then all one day you walk up to it and you ride through it and you're stuck there in traffic and why are we doing this? And I am talking about people who come in and they sell property, which is perfectly legal. We want them to do that. for the people who buy it. And then they clear cut everything. It looks like we dropped a bomb that Fort Bragg came out and practiced on. We'll put it that way. It looks horrible. And I'm basically talking the one up above the post office. It's been sitting like that for probably a year now. And it's horrible looking. Okay, now they've clear cutted one above Circle K. I think that was some of the Ratley property at one time, okay? So they've taken out all the trees to it, and again, it opens up everything. You come down Hope Mills where there's no scenery. There's no trees. There's no cleanup. There's nothing. So why are we allowing these people to destroy how we look in this town? Why we want to present ourselves as a little bit better? And I'm not sure that there is an ordinance for it. Most likely not. But we need to do it. This is our town. Why are they allowed to come in and just destroy every piece of property? Now, if they're, they can leave it like that. If you can't prove the property by looking at what's on the map and walking through it, even with the trees there. Now, if they will cut out some of the underbrush and kind of clean up, look, okay, we'll deal with that. But we shouldn't clear cut everything. And I would also like y'all to relook at the ordinance for the trees. I looked at this thing a few years ago, and I'll be honest with you, it was terribly confusing. And I'm like, this does not make sense. This does not look like what we need for Hope Mills, where if you cut down, some of these big trees need to be saved. Some of them are dying, and they have to be cut down. But I'm still for hanging on to as much trees, shrubs as we can. If you come down the hill there at the stoplight at Rockfish Road, and you start looking all the way down, we look pretty bad. And I think that we can do better. And I'll hit y'all with something else. We planted 3 Nellie Stevens holly trees out here beside. And babied those things for 1 solid year to get them to live, okay? I drove Randy Beeman and Hector, and I can't remember Hector's last name, crazy. I was calling up here every other day, have you watered those trees? Because we put them out down at the lake, they were letting them die, we pick them up, and move them here because we had so much money involved in the trees, okay? We got them to live. And then when they did the safety building, they're gone. Okay? These things get 18 feet tall. They cost us at that then, they were probably very cheap compared to what they are now. We've paid $150 a piece for them, okay? Are y'all gonna replace those somewhere? I mean, I didn't quite understand why we had to widen the road so big that we had to take the trees in, but I also know that my idea of landscaping and these people are not the same, okay? But again, we lost those 3 beautiful trees. Holly trees that stay green all year round and look like a Christmas tree. So, can we replace those this year? Is that in the budget to do something like that in landscaping? Did this gentleman here, when they started talking about all this landscaping and stuff, did he consider replacing those trees? I guess I'm gonna be hugging a tree till I die, y'all, Listen, I appreciate it so much, but I really would like to see an ordinance or something that comes in and says, that can't do that. Something else y'all need to think about. Fayetteville had a big thing in the paper yesterday about not letting halfway houses in residential areas. Do we have anything pertaining to that to save residential areas? And these were for prisoners coming out and transferring into public life. I am all for that. We can save them, keep them out of jail week 1, okay? But again, do we have anything on that about keeping that away from our areas? It's just a matter of time before they're going to build one here too, okay?
We've got, everything's recorded, and so our town manager can get with you with both of those concerns, the ordinances, and with the
We do have various things that come out.
Thank you, ma'am. Okay, next thing we have is our consent agenda. We do have one item, item B, that has been moved to new business. Is there anything else on our consent agenda that you'd like to discuss, or do we have a motion to approve our consent agenda?
Motion to approve consent agenda.
Have a motion, have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by raising your right hand, and Commissioner Mitchell voted yes also. The next thing we have is old business. We do not have any. New business. Consideration to authorize the interim town manager to execute the agreement with MS Consultants in the sum of $70,096.82 for the purpose of facilitating the 2013 street resurfacing project. And, have anything, any comments in reference to that?
What I will say is that, I'm more than likely this is tied to you recall we did a study in Hope Mills, that identified, it was $35 million of improvements that need to be made to our streets, they could bring it up to a C grade. And I think this is for the installation of streets on Heather Streets and another street, and I think this is tied to facilitating that plan. So there is a method to it, I think, Public Works can speak to it if it needs to, but this is basically facilitating part of that plan that you will identify major areas where the street.
What was the name of that street again, sir?
No, Mr. Cisco? Mr. Cisco's gonna come and give us some information.
Madam Mayor, Board, what we're asking for is the approval for the engineering services. I've got a list of all the streets. We have 2.75 linear miles of roadway that we're looking at doing repairs and resurfacing on throughout multiple neighborhoods within the town. Some of it will need to be re-engineered. For example, on Cherry Street behind the school, where there is a drainage issue. So that's going to have to be engineered to go around all of the utilities that are in that area. And then the engineer will also participate in it on a inspection type basis as well. So he's working with us to identify the types of repairs that need to be made. We're looking at doing surveying and coring in some of the areas because, as y'all are aware, we've got some groundwater issues in some of the neighborhoods. We're looking at engineering some subsurface drainage on some of the roads that we're doing repairs on. And I will leave you all, I made everybody a list of the streets that we do plan on doing.
Wonderful. And those are they've been prioritized.
They have been prioritized. The majority of them are on the 2019 paving survey that we had done. And it was done using that as a guide. It's not 100% according to that, because we tried to group some of the areas together to get as much bang for our buck as we can, because we have to pay mobilization every time we move to different areas of the town. So if we have one section of the street that might grade a 35 or a 40, and the next one's a 50, and then the next one's a 40, we tried to bunch those together in some of those areas so that we could economically get more in mileage than if we were to just hodgepodge it and just go strictly by what the numbers are. And then another reason we did that, it's not in this part of the project, but we are looking at doing a rejuvenating project next year for our newer streets. Because one of the things that the paving engineers have always stressed to us is that good streets are less expensive to maintain. So we have to bring our bad streets up to a good standard and keep our good streets at a good standard.
Any questions?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, sir.
How long is it gonna take to do these? Do you have any suggested idea?
We do not have a time frame. We are looking at, once this is done, it's going to take a couple months for him to get everything together as far as the survey and the coring and stuff done. Our plan is to do the repairs first, so that the repairs can sit and actually settle. And then when we go back and do the resurfacing, it screeds over a settled area rather than a newly repaired area that's going to form dips and stuff later on. So it's gonna take a little bit of time to do it, but like I said, one of the reasons we hired the engineer to do this is that he is a DOT engineer, and he's been doing this for a long time, and he understands the best way to get the best product for the town.
Madam Mayor,
Yes.
you said you had a list of all the streets.
I do.
Can I get a copy of that, please?
I will have one for everybody.
Oh, goody.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. I do have a question. If there's, ma'am, Madam Mayor,
Yeah, yes, sir.
if there's anything that got to do in the school areas, can we wait till schools is recessed for the summer before we do those streets?
We are going to facilitate scheduling around the school calendar as well as we can, keeping in mind that some processes take more than just a summer vacation.
Yes, sir.
Madam Mayor, I just had another
Yes.
question. The rating, so what's the rating scale? Like, one the
Ze-
lowest?
0 to 100, one lowest.
0 to 100, all
And there are a couple streets that are not on this list that are as a separate project. Pringle Way in Gulf Acres is actually the lowest rated street in the town. That rated as a 35. We're doing that as a separate project because Pringle Way does not have a stormwater system. So we are doing a storm system, and in order to do that, we have to move the water and sewer as well. So it's a combined effort with PWC and the stormwater folks for the town, and then us as well, so that we can make that street actually up to the standard it's supposed to be.
It's a major project.
Do you have any idea when that might start, that project?
That is in engineering right now, and we should, I would say in the next couple of weeks, have the 85% design. We've already been through 20, it's been through PWC for their review, and it's in 85% design right now.
Okay, good. Any other questions or concerns? Okay, do we have a motion?
Mayor, I'd like to make a motion, we authorize the interim town manager to execute the agreement with MS Consultants in the sum of $70,096.82 for the purpose of facilitating the 2013 street resurfacing project.
Have
Second.
Have a second. Any other discussion? All those in favor signify by raising your right hand. Seeing none opposed. Thank you, sir. Next, we have consideration of resolution R 2023-06, fixing a public hearing at 7 p.m. on Monday, March 6, 2023, at Hope Mills Town Hall, room number 120, on the question of annexation A 2023-01. And this is just make a motion to set the hearing.
Make a motion to set a hearing for March 6th for the, what do I find it here? Yeah, it's the resolution for 2023-06, fixing a public hearing at 7 p.m. on Monday. Is that good enough, or?
Monday, March 6th.
Yes.
Good. All right, have a motion, have a second.
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 Have a motion, a second. Any other discussion? All those in favor signify by raising your right hand. Seeing none opposed. All right, next we have consideration of acceptance of a request to annex 8.11 acres at the intersection of Waldo's Beach Road and Camden Road, and approve resolution R 2023-07, instructing the clerk to investigate the sufficiency of the application.
Mayor, I'd like to make a motion that we adopt resolution R 2023-0, directing the clerk to investigate the sufficiency of the petition received under GS 160A-58. Is that good?
Okay, I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? All those in favor signify by raising your right hand. Seeing none opposed. Next, we have consideration of accepting a bid proposal from A1 Landscaping and Lot Clearing, the provision of landscape installation at municipal parking lot for an amount not to exceed $24,048, and I'll turn it over to Mr. Morrison.
All right, first of all, I'd like to say this was a trick by Drew to get me in trouble with you guys. But at any rate, the landscaping is an original part of the project. It is required by stormwater and planning and zoning, and so it's something that we have to do. So with that, I'll take any questions you may have. We did go through an informal bid process, which is, I think, the limit nowadays is anything $500,000 and less is informal, and so if you receive one good bid and it's within the budget, you can accept it. This time around, we did extend it to 3, and we got 2 back. And what you have before you, the $24,048 is the low bid on this project. And I'll take any questions you may have.
And I think,
That was my question. I just wanted
Yeah.
I understood, but I just
Yeah.
wanted to make sure it wasn't that we were spending $24,000 on grass or something like that. So I just wanted to make
No,
sure.
turf is part of it, and ornamental grasses, but trees as part of the zoning ordinance. A certain amount of trees are required, and then for stormwater, there's certain aquatic plants, and turf in some areas is required to absorb and handle that stormwater.
and isn't the stormwater feature in those islands?
Yes.
I think that's what's
Yep.
really neat, is the way they've done the stormwater feature, so it won't look like regular, what you expect.
It'll look nice.
Yeah, it'll look nice, yeah.
If we stay true to what the landscape plan shows, it's gonna be a nice feature.
Any other questions? Do I have a motion?
Madam Mayor, I'd like to make a motion to accept the bid proposal for A1 Landscaping and Lot Clearing, the provision of the land installation at the municipal park for the amount of $24,048.
Have a motion, have a second?
Second.
Have a motion, a second. Any other discussion? All those in favor signify by raising your right hand. Seeing none opposed.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Next, we have behind tab 11 is the manager's report. Do you have any questions in reference to that for Mr. McLaughlin?
Hold up. Let me get my list. Hold up. I'm good. I don't have no questions.
No questions? Everybody good? Anything to add?
I will say, just going through, some of the items, I do think that, a lot of times we want to celebrate some victories, so looking at the chapel restroom being one of the complete certificate of occupancy, as well as the basketball court, trying to set up some good places.
Okay.
Put that on the radar. He does have Mr. Lamarcus Morrison has the basketball court event for mid-March, but I don't think we actually set the chapel. The parking lot done, the basketball church, and I think tonight you did vote on a proposal, kind of review, I think it could be perfect. You know, I'll go through that and vote.
Is the landscaping and everything done down at the church and the,
I'll check with, Mr. Morrison to see what else, but he has indicated that for this project.
okay.
Go ahead.
Yes, ma'am?
I think, weren't we trying to see about having everything done at once so we can just go from location to location instead of having, one ribbon cutting, 2 days later another ribbon cutting.
But not
We-
the same day.
We know that from past experience, when we've tried to do that, you lose everybody after the first one.
Yes.
Because,
My comment is just to keep it on your radar,
yeah,
how you guys.
yeah.
But
When we did the art sculptures, we did one up here and then went to the lake. And what happened was we lost the people because they don't want to move. We moved, but they didn't.
and also,
Madam Mayor, could we not do the ones that's at Municipal Park though, like the
Yes.
playground,
Yeah.
the splash pad,
Yes.
the basketball, and then do the chapel separately?
Yeah.
yes.
Well, see,
I
I
think
think
that-
we wanted to, but I think Lamarca wanted to open the basketball court sooner.
Will be finished much sooner than the splash pad.
Okay.
I know the playground is getting completion, but I think Mark probably will want to keep the splash pad playground together.
Okay.
That's fine.
That's
Yeah.
good.
Basketball court.
I'm good.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good.
Maybe the basketball court, maybe the parking lot. I know
Yeah.
they wanted to do something for the
That'd be
parking
good
lot
to- yeah.
too.
Ribbon cutting for the parking lot.
Yeah, why not?
Because it's all part of Parks and Rec.
It's parking been brutal.
Small victories.
Yes,
Staff is we won't have to walk.
that's
Yeah.
right.
And one thing, on the chapel, shouldn't it be complete with the agreed upon changes that the groups have combined? Decide-
Yeah.
I'm saying though, before we do the ribbon cutting.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. Find out if we can get everything done. Yeah.
Then it's a done deal.
All righty. All right, next we have, of course, we've got Wednesday. Are we gonna try to go together on Wednesday?
Nope.
I have indicated to Mr. Morrison that we would like to use the town van.
Nope.
If you guys want to ride.
I see y'all there.
I know that when we went together,
I'll go in the van.
when we went together as a group the last time, it made it more convenient for parking and for keeping us together, because what happens is that the parking part was really the issue, I think. The other thing is, then we all sit together too, and we'll have a special table, but, what time would we have to leave if we,
We have to be there at 5, correct?
Right.
yeah,
So I think I'll have Jane send out something tomorrow with the departure time for everybody to be here at town hall at a certain time. Just pull out.
yeah. And it saves money too, because that way you
Gas.
just one vehicle going.
If you don't see me, leave without me.
And I'll be with him if I'm not up here. No, I'll be here.
Nah, I won't be here.
Yep. Okay, sounds good. And then the rest on our schedule is just the upcoming meetings that are coming. Any other comments, anything from staff? Anything, we're good? All right, any other comments up here?
I want to say one thing
Okay.
quickly. I would like to commend HPC and the Parks and Rec staff for working out something with the pews. I know that was a very touchy situation, so I really, really would like to give them its compromise and us working together. So I really would like to give kudos to both groups for working that out.
Yeah, agreed. And also the piano's in.
It is?
Yeah,
Oh,
the
good.
piano, I saw them delivering the piano,
What?
so the piano's in.
Delivered in between the completion of his manager's report.
Yeah, I saw them down there. And the other question was asked if we're gonna put up a municipal sign at that parking lot like we have at the First Citizens parking lot.
Probably.
Because that way,
Yes,
I know
that
there's some
should.
people parked there today. And I just, I know that we hadn't mentioned that, but probably that same sign that like we've got over at First Citizens Bank, so that people would know that you can park there. Okay. Anything else? All righty then.
Motion adjourned.
I tell you what, this is amazing.
We finished already?
Knock on wood.